Since last year, Supreme Master Ching Hai graciously allowed our association members to gather for international seminars. They were joyous occasions as Master and disciples reunited to meditate and pray for peace. During her visit to meet with our association members, Supreme Master Ching Hai also spoke of the teachings of past masters and answered the spiritual questions of fellow initiates. Throughout the ages, compassionate enlightened masters have urged people to surrender to the greater universal power by seeking the divine within, from which all other goodness and happiness follow. This message was echoed again in Supreme Master Ching Hai's discussion, The Attainments of a World Champion, with our association members on February 1st, 2009.
Supreme Master Ching Hai's lectures are not a complete meditation instruction. Please do not try alone. For free of charge guidance, please visit www.godsdirectcontact.org or contact any of our centers near you.
So, he was very lonely. And then the Buddha know about him. Now there come the Buddha in his life now. The lonely and isolated and, too much of the good things. Like, the Buddha wanted to help him, this champion. So Buddha, of course, wear a monk's robe, like a bhikkhu, and then he has a arm bowl with him, for food. And he came and meet the guy. The man was very kind of surprised, like a little bit perplexed, because wherever he went before, up to now, nobody was Buddhist. Yeah, there was no Buddhist where he has traveled. So he doesn't know what kind of clothes the Buddha was wearing. He felt, this is a very funny clothes. So he asked, the bhikkhu, the monk, he called it bhikkhu. I have gone, visited many countries, but I have never seen anyone who wears such clothes like you do. What kind of profession you have? If your craft, anything different from other craftsmen or other artisan or not? So the monk, who was Buddha, answered him, say, my profession is repairing the mind and the body. Like speech, body and mind, something like that, Okay. The guy has never heard of such a profession, So of course he asked, how you do that? With what kind of instrument? Like, okay, if you carve the wood, you have to use a carving knife. You do the sculpture, you have to use sculpting instrument. And what kind of instrument you're using to repair the body and mind? Yes. This is a very strange profession. And he was very surprised and interested. So the Buddha, of course at that time he doesn't say he's a Buddha. And the guy also wouldn't know what the Buddha means anyway. So the Buddha explained to him that if a person who wants to repair and adjust his body and mind, whoever wants to do that, must have a very special talent. Yes. That you can have a victory over yourself first. Because if you have not had victory over your own self, then you're not a champion yet. You're not great yet. Yes. To be able to be a great person, you must be able to win over yourself, not somebody else. Oh, this guy has never heard of this before. He said, If, the Buddha continued, if a person has attained this state of his mental victory, over his own self, then he became a very bright, illuminated person. And and his illumination, his brightness around him could pierce, all the corner of heaven and earth. Yes, his light, the light from him will pierce heaven and earth. So this man, of course, doesn't know anything like this before. Yeah, how can you even have light that pierces every corner of heaven and earth? Wow, this must be a very special artisan. Okay, so the all-star world champion was very interested and very happy. So he, of course, begged him to teach him all this craft, how to repair and adjust your body and mind. So, of course, Buddha taught him the 6 perfection in the Diamond Sutra. Something like 布施持戒忍辱精进禅定智慧. Do charity, good deed, keep the precepts, diligent in your practice, patience, endurance, meditation, yes, and then wisdom, etc., etc. There's a lot of things that he have here also, tons of stuff that the Buddha taught him. The Buddha further told him that only the one who can have victory over himself could be truly liberated. Yes. Even if you are very, very good in any craft at all, this is only for earning a living. Even if you win over the whole world, you're champion of the whole world, this is only temporary. Yeah, nobody remember afterward, and you can't do much about it. You still die like everybody else, and you will not know where you're going. So, the Buddha kept teaching all that. He said that if you learn to have victory over yourself, that is the best victory, the only victory you should have. And then you will be able to liberate yourself from the circle of life and death forever. I agree. Don't you agree? Yes. Could be like that, huh? Should be like that. So after just listening to the Buddha's advertisement, the champion, of course, loved very much and, respectfully bowed to the Buddha and request him to teach him. After a while, he also became Arahant so quick. Luckily, he didn't surpass the Buddha like usual. Become Arahant. That is a very enlightened person already. This is a story in a Buddhist scripture. Probably it's a true story. Yes. I don't know who told the story. Maybe the Buddha told his disciple and the disciple recorded. Yes. So the champion of the world became the champion of himself. Once you become Arahant, that means you have cut asunder all the ego, all the obstruction that bind you to this physical and temporary world. Even if it's temporary, but if you don't cut asunder this bondage, then it's going to bind you forever. Not just this lifetime, but later on. So the guy truly became a champion. Put it that way. And that was long time ago. Okay? I hope you became one like that, all of you. Champion of ourselves. Master of yourself, the Supreme Master. That is the Supreme Master. Okay. So, it's no big deal to become a champion of any kind, even boxing champion or karate champion, anything champion. If we don't win over ourselves, then it's no use. We will die. A weak body like everybody else. And it's just good for the worm. At least good for something after we die. Okay. Now, this is a very good story. You know why? Not because he has win over himself, but because I'm surprised that such a guy, so talented, champion of everything, and still can have enough humility to learn with the Buddha and became an arahant. That surprises me, and that impressed me a lot. Because most of the people in the world, if they are somebody, it's difficult to become nobody. Because in a spiritual practice, we truly have to become nobody in order to become somebody, right? The ego has to be gone so that we can do great things. Because ego is the worst thing that obstructs us all the time. If we think we are something, we are somebody, we are so great, we know everything, then it's very difficult for true knowledge to emerge, not like to get it from anywhere, but to emerge from ourselves. The ego is there, keep thumping our true self down, and we just think, oh, I am a good artisan, I'm a good jeweler, yeah, I'm a good shooter, I'm a good lawyer, I'm a good doctor, I am so and so and so. But in fact, we are not only that. This is just the thing we learn from the world. Everybody can, yeah? Everybody can. If we're diligent and with a little sharp attention, we can learn to master any art in the world that can be learned, you see? But we are not even the need. We don't even need to learn. We are not the mind, we are not the brain that's learning. After we die, even if we lay there, full brain, full body, and we don't function. So the guy who keep the body function, that is the real guy. That is the true self, and that knows everything without learning, without needing of any craftsmanship, any study, or any practice. I'm really surprised that such a man like this, who knows so many things, who travel the world and master all kind of art, and still is humble enough to bow in front of a Buddha and accept him as a teacher so that he can repair, adjust his body and mind. That is difficult, right? Very difficult already. But because he can do that, that's why he can learn fast and become arahant very fast. I guess after he climbed up to the mountain of fame and glory, he realized in his heart that these are nothing. Nothing at all. But a lot of people in this world die for that, for this nothing. Yeah? A lot of war has been fought over this nothing. A lot of life has been lost over this nothing. Fame, glory, empty stuff. Yeah. I'm not talking about like somebody is already in a position of fame and power, but truly using the position to serve others. He has to continue because he wants to help others, either to help them in time of need or help them to know themselves or help them to stand on their own feet. You see, they're already in that position, they're doing it. But these people, they truly want to serve. They don't have the heart to want to gain something, even if they had the position, great position or not great position. It's not their motive to gain some attention. In fact, these people mostly, they don't really like attention too much. They shun the publicity. It's just that they have to endure it for the sake of doing their job. Like, for example, maybe you are president of the country, huh? Yes. It's not like you really wanted to be a president. But since you are young, you're already groomed in a political party, yes. And because you're good, everybody trusted you, voted, yes, you to be presidential candidate, for example, like that. Okay, then you have known nothing else, and you just have to continue with your job. But not necessarily that you want that job. You do it because people trust you, because people want you to do it, to serve the country or to serve other people, to serve the world in whatever capacity. So it doesn't mean if you are president that meaning that you really want fame and gain, and not necessary. It's in the heart, yeah? No matter what you do. It's not the outside that counts. It's inside. You know yourself, whether you are stuck with the fame and glory or not. Yes? But it happens like that. So in the old time, there are also many kings who executed his duty as a royal monarch, but not attached to that position at all, whether he has it or not. If he has it, then he continues to serve his country. If it's taken away from him, hey, go rest. Go sleep. Yes. Like King Rama, remember? Yes. Some of other king. In Vietnam, there was one king like that. He refused to be a king. He renounced his throne and went into a temple in a faraway mountain, remote mountain, and tried to practice Kuan Yin method. What else? What else to make the king can even be so, confident and believing that he renounced the whole kingdom just to go in the temple somewhere in the mountain to practice? Without Kuan Yin method, we get bored after a while if we don't practice this method. The Kuan Yin method is the one that satisfies our longing. They make us feel okay. No matter how long we sit, we could sit. Yes. Whatever we do, we can do it. Yes, that's right. Okay, so this king in Vietnam, he renounced his kingdom, went to the temple, practiced meditation, wanted to be like a renunciate, like a monk. But, his destiny follows him. The whole court officials, namely led by the prime minister at that time, he brought the whole officials, everybody, from the royal court, he brought them all to the temple. And he said, okay, Your Majesty is here, we are here. Wherever Your Majesty is, then the royal court is. So the king has to continue his duty. Either stay there or go home is the same. They just say that wherever the king is, the whole royal court will be. That's it. That is the famous saying of that prime minister. That means you can't run away from your duty. That's what he meant. So, of course, what do? You just go back to be a king again. Whether you are in a temple, a king, or you go back to the royal court and be a king, it's the same. It's the same job. So might as well do it. Go home and do it. I guess he would go home and do it. I guess I would also go home and do it. What's the use of bothering all the poor monks in the temple with all these noise and ceremonies and stuff, every day they do in the royal court, 60 meals per lunch or something like that. So even if the Vietnamese king left the temple now and went back to become the king again in the court and continue doing what he did and being what he was, do you think he was really attached to fame and glory? No. You think, now he feels sorry, regret, living in a temple is too poor and too ascetic, so he like to go back home and be a king and have power over the country again? No, No. Now, even if he's a king or not, he just have to do it, that's it. There's no attachment, no desire for fame and power in his heart. That is what it is. So, it doesn't matter what you do. Yes? It is your heart is important, whether or not you are attached. So it doesn't mean that if you're king or if you're president, that means you are hungry after power and fame. Not necessary. Not necessary. So we cannot judge a person by his or her position. Yes? But you have to know that person in the heart. Yeah? Okay. All right. I hope you know your heart and that you are very, very attached to the world. All kind of things that bind you there and you liked it, Who knows? Maybe. See you. Bye.
That concludes today's episode of The Attainments of a World Champion, on Between Master and Disciples. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for Animal World, our co-inhabitants, coming up next after noteworthy news. Heaven bless and farewell for now.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/BMD.